stories because that's where people copy and paste from, and see if I can get his attention.
Up here.
Both of them are facing there, so okay. So they know that we both came on. Oh, I guess I could have done it on my phone. Who the heck is that person? You get to put my name in there too? Are you putting my name in there?
They're playing on your computer during dinner.
I see Kanuli's on there. Oh, Amanda's on there. Ho ho. Oh, sure, Askew. Dr. Askew came on.
Wait, are they talking?
Oh, yeah, me.
Yeah.
No, it's on mute.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to day 2 of the fall LTI. Bear with me because council had a board meeting right before this 6 o'clock LTI meeting. And so majority of my team is still on the Zoom call from the previous meeting. So I'm going to give them just a few minutes. And in the meantime, I put up some house rules for the meeting tonight. And I understand Mrs. Rye is on the call. So bear with me. In just 2 more minutes, I'll log back on. I'll unmute myself and we'll get started with our program. All right, my team is in and we will get started. Let's see here. Good evening, everyone. I've muted everyone as they enter the call just so that we have a clear recording and one person is speaking at a time, and we get rid of some of the background noise for our call this evening. I want to put an all call out there to Miss Shelley Jones, Tidewater District Director. If she's on the call this evening, I'll give a short pause for her to unmute herself and welcome you all this evening. All right. Day 2, here we go. Welcome, Ms. Carolyn Rye, our school board chair. I open up the floor to you. Thank you.
Well, thank you, and good evening, everybody. So again, I am Carolyn Rye, and it is just a delight to have this opportunity to welcome you to this inaugural council event of this new school year. Events such as this offer me the chance to stay true to my PTA roots. I know well the work you all do. My 15 years of PTA board experience spanned a combined spanned both elementary, middle, and high school levels in New Jersey and here in Virginia Beach, and included 2 stints as president. An elementary school president in New Jersey, and then the pleasure of serving as president at Ocean Lakes High School here. And my final year of service concluded actually as a VB Council of PTAs member. So I thought I would just point out that it was at the PTA level that I first understood the higher calling of working on behalf of all the students of my child's school, not just my own. Of course, I do that in even a more elevated capacity now. But I just want to be sure you all realize it's a role you play now, and with greater importance than ever. I mean, this pandemic, has created circumstances on both a personal and school level that none of us could have envisioned 10 months ago. And I, as much as anyone, being the parent of 2 children, fully appreciate your role as and just the position you find yourselves in as parents. And some of you, all of you most likely have a child somewhere in the pre-K to 12 chain, but some of you also might have younger preschool children and still others college children, age children. And you're dealing with those realities and the personal decisions that were involved, with regard to the options of the fall reopening plan. And I can only imagine our 2 children now are young 30-somethings, but I've often put myself back in those shoes, and certainly the parent feedback I get helps me in that regard. But that those decisions just on an individual level had to be so challenging and so agonizing. Please know, and so with that you've stepped, the fact that you still remain committed to this greater role, right? This greater calling, and I can only reiterate to you. Or emphasize to you how much the other parents in the school need you, even if they don't realize it. And that, I know many do and some may not. And I know through some of your board members, the initiatives that are that you're all putting in place as a PTA with your individual units, and we as a school board applaud that, as another link in this whole chain of being able to help parents know and appreciate that there are others there who can guide them and support them. So I just, in whatever ways you can offer that support or that guidance or the referral to those important resources that we also might have on our website, but they might just be more comfortable or more naturally inclined to go to your own individual school websites. And with that, I did want to, because I generally say that think of yourselves as ambassadors for your school, and really and support each other with, don't forget the own needs of your family as you go through this year with your PTA responsibilities, but lean on each other too, because, to help find that right balance of your own children and the children in the school. So with that, I'm going to end my remarks, and then I will plan to stick around a while because I know your officers have put a lot of work into their agenda and I want to let them get to it. But this is a unity poem that I often share when I attend individual PTA meetings. So I'll begin now. And it's the analogy of a pottery studio. Okay, so kind of envision that in your mind. I dreamed I stood in a studio and watched two sculptors there. The clay they used was a young child's mind and they fashioned it with care. One was a teacher. The tools he used were books, music, and art. One was a parent with a guiding hand and a gentle, loving heart. Day after day, the teacher toiled with touch that was deft and sure, while the parent labored by his side and polished and smoothed it o'er. And when at last their task was done, they were proud of what they had wrought, for the things they had molded into the child could neither be sold nor bought. And each agreed that he would have failed if he had worked alone, for behind the teacher stood the school, and behind the parent, the home. So with that, keep in mind that all-important family-school partnership that we will rely on more than ever this year. Know that the school board stands ready to assist in any way. I know one of your officers stepped forward on behalf of you all to offer support for the recent equity policy as one example of that. So again, I look forward to this session tonight that a lot of hard work and planning has gone into, and thank you all for taking this evening time away from your families to support these officers. And keep in mind, they are here for you, just as you board members know your president is there for you, and for all of you, this council of PTAs is there for you as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Rye. And for our local units who are on the call, if they wanted to invite you to their Zoom meeting or wanted to reach out to you, how may they go about doing that?
In terms of contacting any of us on the website, the school board link is under leadership, and I always say it's everything but our blood type. But both my phone numbers are there, my email address, and any of those means, be happy to hear from you. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, and this part of the program, we're going to go right ahead and invite Mr. Ryan McNulty from IMG Goen Incorporated. I believe I'm saying that correct. He is the box office manager, and we're going to bring our partner of education who is sponsoring the holiday lights onto the call. Is Mr. Ryan here? I'll pause for a second.
Yes, I'm here. I'm Ryan, like you said. I'm Going and Live on Atlantic. We are doing the Holiday Lights program again this year, and we're happy to have the schools and PTAs helping out and selling tickets again. I have a spread or a PowerPoint, and it's not letting me share my screen, so I can just kind of run through it. And
I'm sorry, Ryan. Go ahead. I just activated that multiple.
Okay.
It'll work.
All right, can you see my screen here?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So, with everything going on in the world this upcoming winter, we are making a little bit of changes to our ticketing, but we are still able to use you guys with the schools and PTAs to sell tickets. So new this year with ticketing, we are using Eventbrite to sell our tickets. So that means all tickets will be electronic tickets. We won't be using the hard tickets that we've done in the past. So with that, just a standard person who purchases tickets will go to Eventbrite. They can also purchase it from our website, and they'll purchase it directly from the website. The ticket price will be $17. And when they purchase it, it'll give them a QR code directly on their phone that they can bring their phone to scan at the gate, or they can print it out to scan at the gate to reduce contact. So there'll be no cash sales on site It'll all be electronic to make it a little safer when they come to the event. So what that means for you guys, since we'll be doing it electronically, you'll still be able to sell it just as you have in the past. It'll be $12 for you guys now instead of $17. So we'll be getting a $5 discount. $5 goes to the PTAs and $7 would go back to us at Live on Atlantic. The changes that will be for you guys, so you'll be selling vouchers instead of tickets. Those vouchers will have a code on it. So when somebody buys a voucher from you guys, they'll be able to redeem that code on Eventbrite for a ticket. Here's an example of just, the vouchers are basically going to be business cards. So the one side has the code on it and the back side has the redemption instructions. So basically just go to our website at liveonatlantic.com/info/tickets and they'll enter that 6-digit code that's on the other side of the voucher. So once they do that, it'll basically give them a 100% discount on the Eventbrite site. So this screenshot here is going to be the page that they'll go to, and they'll just enter that code where it says promo code. Once they do that, they'll get their QR code and they'll be able to bring that to the gate. So for you guys, selling is going to be pretty much the same. You'll be selling the vouchers just in place as the hard tickets. The redemption is going to be the only thing that changes. So it will be a little bit different for the customer side, but for you guys, it'll pretty much be the same. Just going to try and keep it as easy as possible so you guys don't have any major changes or the customer doesn't have any major changes as well. Let's see. So the dates again are going to be November 13th to January 3rd. And as far as picking up the box tickets, it'll be the same as if you guys have done it in the past, it'll be the same procedures as before. You can reach out to me. I'll be sending out an email in the next week or so. We're still working on getting the exact codes finalized with the ticketing company and the printing company. But you can reach out to me and you can request the number of tickets that you would like, and then you'll settle at the end of the run just as you have in the past. So if you get a block of 100 tickets and you only sell 50, you only pay for the 50 tickets. You don't have to pay for every ticket you take in advance. Again, that's pretty much the same as it's been in the past. It's just the redemption that's going to be different. Instead of just bringing that ticket to the gate, they will have to redeem the ticket on Eventbrite or our website. Again, like I said, all the money has to be returned by January 11th. That's kind of getting down into the details, but I will send all that in an email to all of you guys. I have most of y'all's emails from previous years, but if you have not done it before, you can reach out to me, or I've been working with Amber. You can reach out to us and we'll get you on our email list to get you guys all involved if you're interested in selling tickets. And then another little benefit, Live on Atlantic will give $100 cash prize to the PTA that sells the most tickets. So that gives you guys an incentive to go out and sell more tickets. And that's pretty much it on the news side. If you guys have any questions, I'm here to help you. You can email me, call me, ask questions now. I'm here to help.
Thank you, Ryan. Will you stay on the call for our question and answers at the end of the program?
I will not be, I do have to leave about 6:30, 6:45-ish. So if anybody has any questions now, I can answer questions, or like I said, you can give me a call or shoot me an email. I'm definitely free to answer any questions there as well.
Okay.
And I will be sharing Ryan's contact information with the follow-up video from this night.
And we'll also type, Amber, you'll type it into the chat. Amber will tap it into the chat as well.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Ryan, for the presentation. And then take a brief
Thank you.
pause. You have a wonderful evening, Mr. McNulty.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I saw an email come through from our next presenter, Ms. Isabel and Steve. There was a little bit of confusion about which call tonight they should be joining. So as Ryan was doing his presentation, I emailed Isabel. I'm hoping that she has the correct Login information now.
I'm good. I'm here. I'm here.
Okay. Well, go ahead and take the show. All yours.
All right. We'll see if this share screen works. Can you see it?
Let's see, not yet. Yeah, I
Not
think,
yet.
yeah, after you click on share screen at the bottom of yours, then it's gonna pop up the multiple windows that are open, and then you're click on the window you want to share.
Okay, because it's not wanting to share it for some reason. All right, let's try again. Let's see. Bear with me.
Fine.
Okay, let's try this. Told you, technology. Okay, what's going on? All right, let's try again. All right, do you see that one?
Let's see. Yes. we
Okay, okay, good, good. We're on the right thing. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Hi, if you haven't met me before, my name is Isabel Reitzelhood, and I am the school rentals assistant for Virginia Beach City Public Schools. And I'm also on the call with Steve Lepak. He is the risk manager over school rentals. And we have a small slideshow for you, so you'll be able to see it. And if you need to have any questions at the end, we'll take some questions for emails. Okay? First of all, school rentals has gone through a few changes. It has now moved to risk management. It used to be under facilities. It is now under the risk management, located at Plaza Annex, which is next to Brookwood Elementary. Steve Lepak, who is the risk manager for the school district, he oversees the occupational safety, workers' compensation, and insurance liability requirements and risk activities for the Virginia Beach School District. So we've kind of moved under his umbrella, basically. So the big thing that I'm going to be talking about is with Steve under the insurance requirements with regards to school rentals. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about is the insurance requirements, which are the general liability, the 1 million occurrence, 2 million aggregate, and of course, the school board of the city of Virginia Beach is listed as additional insured. With that, there is also the including for additional insured as waiver of subrogation and primary non-contributory, applying to Virginia Beach City Public Schools, school board of the city of Virginia Beach, and their employees, members, partners, officers, and directors. This is something that maybe some of your PTAs are not familiar with because they have not added this last piece yet. So I wanted to include that so everybody, all of the PTAs knows that this is now part of the requirements for insurance under the COIs. And I've included also the address for the COI, which is the school board, and that is the 2512 George Mason Drive, Virginia Beach, Virginia, 23456, of course. Last school year, school rentals, along with risk management office, has implemented the My COI program for the school district. Some of you are familiar with it, some of you are not. It's basically a third-party program that houses the certificates for organizations that have activities on school property. This risk management also uses it for our purchasing department and all of our construction. So anything that is going on in our school system that's on our property. This program provides communication for the current liability requirements, any expiration of coverages, compliance of coverage to be sure that everything is still ongoing and that there isn't a lapse in coverage. As a note, all PTAs must be registered and compliant with liability requirements for any PTA activities taking place on school property. So if a PTA hasn't been registered in the MyCOI system, hasn't provided any type of COI to school rentals, we won't be able to have any activities on school property for liability issues. So we definitely want to remind PTAs to get those COIs into the MyCOI system. And if you need to update your contact information, definitely email that to me. I can update it in the system. If you need a password reset, send an email to me and we'll update that also as well. Whatever you guys, if you're having issues with the system, let me know, send an email so we can note any problems that we're having. But we definitely need to make sure that everybody is compliant with their COIs in the system, so that way we don't have any disruptions in activities taking place on school property. Next is school rental applications. Just as a reminder, PTA activities taking place after school hours will need to have a school rental application submitted. That's activities during school hours where the PTA is the contract writer or the host of the facilities use application will need to be submitted. Meaning that if you have a something taking place, you know, during school hours and you've invited somebody to come and do a performance and you are writing the actual contract for the performance, then you would need to submit a facilities use application. Activities that will have an outside vendor coming onto school property that's not an instructional performance during school hours will need to provide a certificate of liability, such as recently the food vendors that are coming in for any type of, if you're doing any things taking place on the school grounds, we would need to get a certificate of liability from them. So anybody that would be coming in as an outside vendor. I've also included on this the access, the website for the school rentals webpage. It has the current application, which is still in process of revising, the current processing policies and updates, and it also states everything that you would need to have for the application. If there's anything on there that you're not familiar with or you don't understand or it doesn't state it on there, just send me an email and I'd be glad to help out with whatever you need for filling out the application. As a reminder, presidents are authorized signers for applications. We have to have, for this application, there has to be an authorized signer. So the presidents for each PTA is authorized. So then having other people sign them it makes it not applicable, meaning that somebody else, we'd have to have the president, you know, either countersign or go back and re-sign it. Any applications that are for large activities that are taking place must be submitted at least 30 days in advance. That gives my office, school rentals, risk management, anything else, any other areas that need to be included, gives us time to review, to note, and if there's any additional things we need to cover for that activity to take place. Regular meetings, I know that they're virtual as of right now. If we ever get back to in person, meeting dates can be put on one application. I just asked, we have to have special events or activities be submitted on a separate application. That way the school understands that it's not a regular meeting, and for liability, we know what is going to be taking place. For large events, when you submit your application, provide a map. It'll help with understanding what's taking place and where on the property. There are some requirements that if some things take place off of the property in certain areas, we have to get the city to follow suit with that. So we want to make sure that things are taking place on the property and that we have enough coverage. And it also helps the school if they need to include a custodian in cleanups and everything like that. Going forward, we also need to include a draft flyer of the event with the application. That kind of gives me an idea of what is taking place, what kind of activities. I know in the past I've asked for like a list of activities and things. Flyers help greatly because then I know I kind of get a screenshot of what it is and it'll make it a lot easier. All right, so for PTAs, for documentation for the new school year, certificate of insurance in the MyCOI program, the current list of PTA executive board with contact information, the current PTA bylaws, and the 501c3 nonprofit IRS determination letter. Some of these have probably not expired or don't expire, such as the bylaws, since they're I believe it's every 5 years. So if your bylaws do not expire this year, then you would not need to submit those. But if they are in review to be expired for this year, then when you get the new approved bylaws, go ahead and send those to me as well for a copy. And this is the big thing that everybody's been asking, activities during COVID, which is currently going on. We're addressing each PTA request on a case-by-case basis. It's been a little different because we are not sure of what is going to be approved to take place on school property and what is not during this time period. So there are a few things that have already been discussed, and we've been told, and I've been told, that they will not take place on school property just because of the liabilities and the probability of, of someone getting with close contacts and stuff like that. So the current activities that won't be approved to take place are the trunk and treats, trick-or-treating, fall festivals. And then looking forward to, in spring, all dunk tanks. They are not allowed. These are things especially that pose the severe liability issues, not just with the PTAs, but with the school district as well. So when you submit your application right now, include any mitigation steps that you are going to have basically with during that type of event. That'll help us to determine, okay, what is taking place on this request, and it'll help from us having to do email back and forth. The mitigations will definitely be helpful during this COVID process. Just as a note, the district's main objective right now is to get all of our kids back in the classrooms And we understand that, there are events that want to take place, and we're trying to do what we can for certain activities. But we do also have to look at what is best for the district and what is safe, done safely. So if anyone has any questions, you can submit them via email to me. I've included my email address, or you can give a call and leave a message at my office number, which is also on here. And glad to be working with you guys for another year.
Wonderful presentation. Thank you, Isabel, for sharing. All right. Okay, we'll move right along to our next presenter here, which will be Dr. Sharon Shoebridge, the Director of Instructional Technology. I'm looking at my notes and I couldn't read it for a second. So I'll pause for a moment and give Dr. Shoebridge an opportunity to unmute herself and start with her presentation.
Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can.
And you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm going to be excited because I feel like I'm a little bit set up tonight because technology hasn't been our very best friend in the virtual world. So when Amber asked, hey, could you do this presentation? I was like, yes, because I'm so excited about what's coming. And it's been Groundhog Day for me. So every day has been February 2nd. It's like, hey, good morning. Class link's down. Hey, good morning. We're having Schoology issues. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So I'm gonna talk about these two awesome programs that in the big scheme of things should be fantastic for you and your kids. I wanna say hi to my friends. So just so you know who I am, I'm Sharon Shoebridge, Director of Instructional Technology. I've been in Virginia Beach for 21 years. I was an instructional technology specialist a long time ago. They were called computer resource specialists. And then I became an assistant principal. I was at Thorogood. I saw Carol on the call. So hi, Carol. It's been a very long time. It's nice to see you. Then I was downtown for a little while. I was a science coordinator, a curriculum coordinator, a math coordinator, did lots of stuff. Met Amanda at Cook. Hi, Amanda. I saw you on the line. Then I was principal at Kingston Elementary School for the last 5.5 years. My heart and soul is still at Kingston. So I saw Miss Ricketts was on the call. So I miss you all so very much. But there was a calling for me to do more. And technology and instructional technology specifically is my passion. So kind of led back to this job. And I'm very thankful that I'm in this position. So just so you know, I started the job January 1, and I had 2 months in the job before we went out. So January 1, March 13th. So I had to catch up really fast into what was going on to be able to provide for your students the very best opportunity. So tonight, Amber asked me to just do a quick overview of 2 of the instructional programs we've got going on this year. And I'm going to see if I can get my screen to work. So one of the applications that I'm sure you're very familiar with now at this point is called ClassLink. And the benefit of ClassLink and the idea behind ClassLink was that it was going to be the single sign-on for all of our students. So no matter what device they used, whether it was your home computer or a phone or a tablet or their Chromebook from school, ClassLink would be their single sign-on, and all of their applications would live off of that main page. And the beauty of that is you wouldn't have to search. So I know we heard last year in March, April, May, feedback from parents was they were told to go to Clever and to go to this application and this link, and it was a lot of searching for stuff. So ClassLink was intended to be our simplification of that process. So when your child logs into their Chromebook, they get to the ClassLink dashboard and they can see all of their applications that the teacher may assign. And those applications are based on grade level. So what elementary school sees may be different from middle school, may be different from high school. And it's very much based on who your child is. So the AD, the active directory of your student, is what would appear on the screen. So this is what their dashboard looks like. Schoology is on every child's dashboard. If you have an elementary student and your school is using Seesaw, K2 is everyone in 3 through 5 may have that option. Seesaw is also an app that's directly on the dashboard for students. And again, the benefit of this was for students to be able to have a one-stop shop, one-stop location. Their teacher can add material to this dashboard for them, specific applications that he or she may use. And if you notice in the very bottom corner, do you see at the bottom in the center, there's 2 little icons, and one looks like a backpack and one looks like a person with a squiggly line. If you clicked on the backpack, the beauty of the backpack is it helps your student. There's all the applications the teacher may assign right there in the backpack. So if your teacher in maths assigns Redbird, they don't have to search for it. They can just open up their backpack. There's their Redbird icon. They can get right to it. If they're in reading and responding to literature and they have a PALS application, we've put all those things in the student backpacks. So again, we were doing everything to try to make it as simple as possible for you, the parent at home, trying to help your child find these things, and for the students themselves to be able to find the resources and materials that they needed. So just an overview a little bit of ClassLink. And I know it has been not the best couple of weeks with ClassLink, but every day gets better. That's what I keep telling myself. And the benefit of the single sign-on for our students and the security of our students. And please know, no information is shared. This is not, there is no security breach of any of your child's information. This is a very secure site, again, which is one of the reasons that we had selected it. The other piece, there's kind of a dual thing here. I want to talk a little bit about Parent View. If you have not yet signed up for Parent View, please encourage your parents in your community to sign up for Parent View. This is how we are communicating bus information. So if you have a 6th grader or a 9th grader going back tomorrow, you got the email from Virginia Beach City Public Schools about an hour ago that said, we cannot wait for your kids to come back tomorrow, but please go to Parent View to check where their bus location is and the bus time. I went on just the other day for my 9th grader, so I have a 9th grader going back tomorrow. So anyway, so if you have not yet signed up for Parent View, please find, it's parentview.vbcps.com, create an account or log in. The other benefit of Parent View now is that, one, you can see your child's schedule. So in August, when I did this presentation, it was really helpful for parents, especially if you had a middle or a high school student who was switching to a 4x4 schedule. What was that going to look like? But you can also, inside of Parent View, you can see the calendar of events that your child has coming up. You can see their attendance. So if you have any issues with, if your child had trouble getting on a computer, the teacher marked them absent, this is really the best place to go to sort of track for yourself to make sure that that information is accurate. You can see their course history. You can see test history and any other documents. And the other piece that's now off of Parent View is the Schoology site. So if you wanted to go in and be able to see your child's Schoology account from your lens, you would go in as, you're kind of going in as impersonating your student, but it allows you to go in and see what your child has coming up, what your child's teacher has put out there for information, how to reach them. So there are 2 buttons. There's the Schoology support, and then there's also the parent access. And if you click on the parent access, of course, it's going to tell me that it doesn't know what I'm talking about, because why would I, the Director of Instructional Technology, be able to log into my Schoology account? Don't you love technology? How many people are a huge fan of technology right now? Raise your hand. Come on, I can't see. You got all your cameras off. You know how hard it is for teachers right now because all you have your cameras off? All right, hang on. I'm going to show you what Schoology looks like. The other beauty of it not working for me is that this is what happens to teachers, and I just want you to appreciate the stress and pressure I really felt for Isabel earlier when she was trying to log in and she couldn't log in, because that's how teachers feel every day. Are you all seeing everything I'm doing, or did like it go away?
It went back to your picture.
Okay. I think this is the right place. Okay. All right. Can you see my screen again? Awesome. Okay. So right now I am in as my child, who is horrified that I am using her account. But there are great things about Schoology. We heard a lot in the spring that parents had wished Schoology had a consistent setup for an elementary student, for a middle school student, for a high school student. So my team in the summer put together a chart that said all courses have to have similar ways that they're set up. Because then for a parent, they all know no matter what class it is, there's going to be some green folder that's either the course info folder or the welcome folder that's going to have the link to the meeting every day, that's going to have my contact information or the teacher contact information. And so you as a parent can go in. Over here on the right side, you can see that upcoming, she has homework 2.1 that's due this evening. It obviously has not been submitted because it's still sitting there. So I'll go just check on Ainsley in a minute, ask her when she's getting it done. And then I can see what she has due tomorrow and then what's coming up next week. So right away, I can see the things that are going on with the work that she has to do. If I wanted to see any one of her courses, I could click in specifically into her course. And look how beautiful, right here is the green course information folder. And fingers crossed, when I open it, it's going to have the information that we've suggested. And it's maybe not loading right now. Maybe I'll find a different teacher. But you've got the units are all laid out. The quarterly assessment is there. So if I wanted to see anything the teacher was doing, I could go into each of those folders if I was really curious about how she was teaching geometry. Now, I was math coordinator, but I had let that hat go because somebody else can carry that. If I wanted to see any of her other courses, I could just go back to courses, and here's all of the things that she has. So if I wanted to look at her fashion marketing, her world history, I can see all of that information. And it'll tell me when she has assessments coming up. So as a parent, if you wanted to know how your child or what was going on in your child's world, this is the easiest way. Parent View, Schoology, Schoology Parent Access. And you can, sort of gives you a lens into what is going on with your student. You can see the teacher information, and it gives you a chance to reach out to the teacher if you have any questions about what's going on. Again, I feel a little bit like I'm set up, Amber Sloan. We're going to be talking about this later. I'm sure there's going to be lots of questions, but I promise you, the instructional technology department, we have been working tirelessly to make sure that your kids are safe, that what we are providing for them is not going to put them at jeopardy, is not going to put you at jeopardy, but is going to give them the resources they need in a timely manner that's going to be teacher friendly. Like, it really mattered that it was teacher friendly or things that teachers could use to support their students' learning. And we know there's been lots of concern about screen time. We've been working with the curriculum team. We've really been talking a lot about those activities that don't require screen time. Both of my kids, I have a 9th grader and a 10th grader, their teachers are doing an amazing job pushing out tasks that don't require the kids to be on the computer. And I'm grateful for that. So even as much as I love the device, I'm very happy to get off and get away from it when I can. We've done some school visits. And if you have any concerns, I would just love to say, I was almost emotional today at a school because it was just so beautiful. There was a teacher with virtual. She had all of her devices up. The kids were in small group. I mean, it was like she had been doing it forever. So smooth, so incredibly competent. Kids were outside on recess. They were outside building roller coasters. It was school. It felt so good. I told the principal, like, I'm emotional right now because one, to charge my battery, I miss the kids, but they were doing what they needed to do to support our students. So I'm just going to put that little plug in there. I promise you, we are working really hard. But I thank you so much, and I'm going to be here if you have any questions. Please be kind to me. We are doing everything we can, and sometimes technology is a little bit out of our control. But I appreciate it so much. Okay, that's it for me. If anybody has any questions, I'll stick around.
April, you're on mute.
Thank you, Tara. So thank you, Dr. Shoebridge, for that presentation. Beautiful. We're going to roll right into the question and answer section of our meeting, which is at the tail end. We ask that if you have any questions, type them into the chat. We have Tara and Geraldine who will be on the call, and they will be our moderators to read to us the questions so that we can hopefully get you the answer this evening. And if we cannot, Amber Sloan will definitely post this information on our webpage and be responding back to give you the clarity you need for this evening. So I will pause for a few minutes, allow you all to type in your questions into the chat. And Tara, you can get started as soon as you see the first question. They're quiet out here, huh, Tara? That is wonderful. That means that our presenters this evening gave them every bit of information they needed, and they don't have any questions. And we'll give them a few more minutes. And then afterwards, if we don't have any questions, I'm going to roll it into Amber after a few more minutes.
April, if we have a food truck come out, do we need to submit their certificate of liability?
Yes, that is what Isabel has stated in her presentation. Food trucks, if we have Panera Bread coming in to host a hospitality event for the teachers, the faculties, yes, you do have to present the certificate of liability.
April, I think you're good.
Thank you, team. All right, Amber, you want to close us out?
Sure. Just in closing, the one thing that I did want to mention for any of you that are not aware at this point, that the Reflections program is happening this year, and hopefully you all are well on your way to setting up your school level programs. If you're not, feel free to contact me. My email is on the website. And the virtual submissions for 2020 is the newest item of business from a council perspective for this Reflections year. The dates for submission are also on the website, and I will be emailing them to everyone along with the video from tonight's training. So if everyone has any questions, anyone has any questions about Reflections, please feel free to email at that point.
Listen to it on the pod.
I'll get it off now. I think they're done.
So, but thank you so much for joining us, and thank you to all our presenters who did a wonderful job this evening, and have a good night.
Good night, everyone. Before I let you guys go, I want to share something from National PTA. I just got it through the email blast. If I can share this for our elementary school units, bear with me here. Oh, goodness, goodness, goodness. It's on behalf of Mars. For some of our units who want to know how we can safely celebrate the wonderful holiday of Halloween for youngsters, National PTA has partnered with Mars Wrigley. There is an app out called Treat Town Halloween. It is a virtual app. It allows you all to earn credits, candy credits that you can redeem for real Mars Wrigley candy. It allows you to decorate your costume doors. You can create your own monsters, avatars. You can play mini games. You can explore other attractions in this app. So something that is brought to you from National PTA. Just wanted to share it real quick. All right, folks. Have a good night.